I am video conferencing with a group that came back from Peru, and it looks like we have maybe 8 of us here or so. And how big was the full group?
30,
36.
Yeah, 30 something. 36.
There's 36. And just so the church could hear, what was the scope of your work down there? What were you doing?
We were building a multi-purpose building, but we're just building the back wall of it, and we're doing vacation Bible school.
So how would the hours of the day break up there? Did you work for a certain number of hours and then go do vacation Bible school in the evenings or something?
So there's like 7 people doing VBS. We would work for the first part of the day until around 1, and then after lunch we would go back to the hotel and then shower and then go to VBS.
Wow. So when was the morning wake up call?
Depends on the day.
Everybody on their own. We gotta get up and get out there.
Well, breakfast was at 6:30,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And we were gone out of the hotel by what, 7:15?
Yeah,
on the
kitchen crew started at 5:30.
Mm-hmm. And the construction were you laying brick or?
It was a lot of that, but it was also
Concrete
passing
block.
brick and doing other stuff. But
Sun in sand, carrying bucket of sand and rock. I was in the side doing the cement and the, what is that one? Cement and
Mud.
Mud. And that was pretty fun when they were doing the 2 flat places for the floor because it went pretty fast. The slab for the floor because it went pretty fast. We were rushing to keep up with the demand. They were like, more of this, more of that.
Yeah.
So we were able to do 32 courses of block for the main wall that we were working on, 17 courses for an additional wall that we didn't even know we were going to do, and lay 2 concrete slabs. So not only were we able to finish our initial job, but we added other things for that, and the concrete slab had to be chipped out. So some of our guys and girls spent most of the time chipping out block or slab that wasn't supposed to be there, concrete that wasn't supposed to be there, to make it available to do the full concrete slab. So it was a fun trip.
It's a bit of a different dynamic than the other countries because the other countries I've been, it's just the small cities. This one we're in a bigger city, and so it's a whole lot different.
So does anyone have an experience you had in Peru that you saw God at work that you'd like to share with us?
well, I know I'm kind of jumping to the end here, but I saw a lot of God within the entire trip, but I saw a lot of God at the very end as well when we were getting to airports and trying to get back to the U.S.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of cutting it close, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty close.
How close? Like, how many more days did you have there before it would have been a bad deal for you?
Okay.
I think getting out of Machu Picchu, it would have been like 24 hours and we would have been stuck there, right?
Wow.
Yep, that morning they were already saying that the airport was going to be closed. That's why we leave by 7 in the morning to go to Cusco to get out of there.
We were shoulder to shoulder with people. It was crazy.
Yeah. How about any experiences with the people there in Peru? Maybe the kids at Vacation Bible School or some friends you made? How did you see God at work there?
Well,
The kids were precious.
yeah, I don't know about there, but 2 of the guys, they were working with Wendy and I. One, they both were not from Maranatha, and they were not Adventists either. So one of them, we have the Facebook for both of them.
Mhm.
But one tell me, can you send me Bible verses every day so I can do that? And I said, why you not come to church? And he's like, I'm not the type of guy. I don't like to go to church. And I'm like, what type of guy it takes to go to church? And he's like, I don't know. It's not my style. So I'm texting him every day. I have two different sites who send me Bible verses every day. So I'm sending them to him. And he was texting us about how everything is stopped, it's no work. I text him and I ask him, how is work down there? He's like, oh, nothing, everything is stopped. The way you leave it is stopped because the other group didn't come in. So he was worried. He have two kids and a wife, and he didn't have, in those countries like mine, we don't think about the future. We go like day by day. And so with this situation, they have nothing practically. So my husband asked me, he goes, can we help them somehow? We were thinking to buy food and ship it down there, but they don't do that. So we, for the grace of God and to show them God, we send a little bit of money for them to manage a little bit his family and his children's for a little bit of time. He's like, oh, I'm going to call you my padrinos mágicos. I don't know I don't know how to say that in English, but it's just a way for them to see God, to see his love. And I said, he told me, he goes, I want to cry. And I said, if you cry for the blessings that God give you. I said, there is your family and ways to support them. So that's a way that I can see that we can share God with them and hopefully bring them closer to God, because he's not a believer or anything. So
Praise God. How about the kids? I know that we do vacation Bible
that's
school.
you.
Your kids are always, crowding around you, wanting to see what you're doing. Did any of you work closely with the kids?
Yeah, it was there was at one point I drew a castle on one of the kids' paper plates. And then I had like 7 kids just run up to me. It's like, me next, me next. So I had to draw castles on plates for the entirety of the rest of the day of the VBS. And it was like,
thank you, sweetie.
Draw, get the next plate, draw. And I was like, what? I'm not an artist. But they were like, yes, you are. I was like, no, I'm just drawing.
She does pretty good.
But all these kids are so, they're so lovely and loving, and they'll get the little bit they have and they're so happy with it. And it really is an eye-opener for us, because we in the US, we have a lot more resources than they do, and they're so happy with the little bit that they have. And it's just a really big eye-opener, and yeah, I'm glad I got to have that experience.
The kids have no idea about social distancing.
Yeah.
And they just sit right on your lap just about, and little kids walk up and just hold out their hand to shake your hand when they first meet you. And I was so moved by how they were so friendly and loving. That was a great experience for me. And they all sang, and they were good. They were good kids. Yeah, I will not forget them.
Yeah, I only went to BBS the first day because they need me to translate in the work site. So Wendy have a terrible time with the workers there by herself, which is like, can you stay and help me? And I'm like, of course.
Yes, I had a tough time because I speak no Spanish, and it was hard to communicate with those kids. And if I go again, I tell you what, I am going to learn the language. That will just.
So you have what is her name to help you with?
Jessica
with
Jessica,
the Spanish.
I saw God in Jessica.
Yeah.
Because she was a huge help and so willing, and the church people that came out to help us with the songs, and just they were always there, helping.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that so much.
Any foreign mission experience that I've had, I always come back with it changing the way I think and helping me understand what I have. Was that the case for any of you on this trip?
Mm-hmm.
What were some things that stood out to you that you were reflecting on as you're flying back on the airplane?
What was that?
Can you say the question again?
Yeah, so as you're coming back and it was kind of chaotic and you're thinking about the experience you had, what was God bringing to your mind and helping you think about life and how you want to live it when you get back? What was that thought process like for you?
In
I
my
think
case,
for me,
sorry,
Okay.
go ahead.
I might say something. We had an incredible experience with a lot of good people that we interacted with, and the local people were so appreciative. They said they waited 43 years to start building this school complex. And we had lots of experiences with, you know, air conditioning not working or water not running or having hot water or having no hot water and scalding water in the showers, maybe toilets that don't flush and some different things. But we had a swimming pool to cool down in, a bunch of cool people. And we expected at the end of it to come back to our normal lives. And I think that's probably one tough thing for all of us is we didn't come back to normal. So it's an interesting process to come back from a mission trip and find that some of the things that we took advantage of before or we thought was going to be there was not there.
Mm-hmm.
So luckily we have lots of toilet paper, we're fine, but who knew that there would be issues with grocery supplies or work or anything like that. So it was a different process to come back to something that wasn't exactly how we left it.
In my experience, it reminds me where my roots, where I come from, because even it's not Costa Rica, it's pretty similar, you know. It's humble people and really simple with a lot of the needs. And it reminds me, it's a reminder every time that where I come from and the blessings that God give me every day, the good that my kids have it, because I grew up in dirt floors and with water coming out of a hose to get showers and just simple stuff, you know. And being the way I live now and being all the blessings that God give me is a reminder to me every day to be grateful, to be able to come back to the United States in the middle of the chaos, you know, the coronavirus and everything. And we were praying to just get back home and be together with our family, and whatever is coming after that, just be it, but at least be together with the family that we love. Because I have one of my kids and the other three home with my husband, and I was like, I just want to go home, Lord, let me get home. So.
And so with coming back, like Laura was saying, coming back to something that is different than you left it. When you guys left, we knew about this virus, but it wasn't nearly the height of caution that it is right now. So was there like daily updates, or were you concerned about it on the job site at all? Was that in the conversation?
It was people with coronavirus in Peru and Lima already when we were in the work site. And I keep repeating to myself, well, we are covered with the blood of Christ because we are here doing his work. So we will be okay. He will cover us. All of us will be okay. And so far, 2 weeks go by and everybody, I think we all okay. So God is good.
Yeah. So those who went on the mission trip are kind of like my experience, because I left on February 23 to go to some classes. So we've had 2 weeks more than everyone else of not attending the Palmer Church. So we've been gone now for about 4 Sabbaths. So what is something you'd like to say to our friends in the Palmer Church while we're recording this, and things you missed about how it was a month ago?
We miss to get together, to see each other, talk to each other, hold hands.
Hugging.
That's what I miss the most.
What's that, Minda?
Hugging. I miss hugging people.
Wait, isn't that illegal?
What?
Isn't that illegal?
Yeah. No.
Good grief. Don't get me going.
Anyone else? What is something you'd like to share just with the Palmer church family?
I have something. So even though not everyone in the church may know each other by name, or not everyone in the church may talk to each other every Sabbath, it is a very welcoming place, and you know that everyone there is your family, you know? And I miss that. Just being able to go inside the church and feel, you know, welcomed, and being able to feel like, oh, this is what I usually do. This is fine. All my friends are here. It doesn't matter if I trip and fall. I'm not going to be that embarrassed. But I miss the welcome and the whole family aspect of the church that we still have it on YouTube, but we don't have it so much in person.
And we have phone calls and texts, but it's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I miss it.
We miss the human contact.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few weeks ago, the ministries of our church led you guys all the way down to Peru, and now you can't even go down to the church. Lots changed in a few weeks. Anyone else on just something you'd like to share before we stop recording this? Just something you'd like to share with the church?
It was this man, they call him Manolo. He's one of the founders of the church there in where we were. And he was wanting to communicate with the group, but he didn't speak any English. So when he saw me, he came close to me. He goes, "You speak Spanish, do you?" And I said, "Yeah, from Costa Rica." So he was so happy to be able to communicate with one person of the group. He was ecstatic. He kept talking to me, and the last day when we were in church, he was saying that God sent him an angel because he couldn't communicate with the group, and through me he will be able to speak and to actually understand good what we were doing and where we're coming from and everything. He goes, "I think I speak English. I noticed that I don't speak nothing of English." So it was pretty good to get to know the people there. They're all his wife and daughter and grandchildren. They were just precious. They're just precious. Wonderful people down there.
You guys, with your plans, when you're planning a year or more ahead for this, you guys came within maybe probably a week or two of having to cancel this trip.
Yeah.
It's really just been a few weeks later. So praise God that you're able to go down there and be blessed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was a blessing. We go to help them, but it's really a blessing for us to be among them and helping them.
Yeah.
I just, it makes me feel useful and helpful and remind me where my roots are and where I have now.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Well,
I think God's
go ahead.
I think God's timing is pretty much impeccable with this trip, because you're right. We left in just the right time to get back in just the right time.
Yeah.
The first group left the airport 23 hours before the airport closed. The second group that had gone up to Machu Picchu had to do a little bit of sightseeing in other countries in order to get home, but they made it out too. There's a couple other mission trips that had quite an experience. Some pretty miraculous stuff that got them home after us. So it was neat, but it was really good to see God's timing on this trip. George can probably comment more on this, but I wasn't super confident we were going to finish the big wall that we were assigned to finish. It was a pretty massive wall, and initially we were rather slow in getting it going. But again, God works stuff out, and in his time, we actually finished that wall, and like Laura mentioned, did another wall and laid a couple of concrete slabs at the same time. So it was really fun to see that all work out. This was a neat trip for that.
One way to see the hand of God was the 36 people. They all have different work ethics, and everybody have their own way to work. Some are hard workers, some other are not so hard workers. And in a weather when it's 115, 120 in the shade, for people who is from Alaska in the winter, it's not easy to work in construction. So in the first 2 days, you really see the hand of God molding and putting people in the places. Some goes down, others stand up and say, okay, let's do this. And the first 2 days were the slowest because people need to get used to each other. And another thing is, we barely know people who went in that trip. Some people who goes to the church, but we never see in the church was there. So we make friendships even in the church people because we didn't know them. And working together and spending 2 weeks together, you really get to know better people.
It's a bonding experience.
Yes, it is. It was good. We love it. Sometimes with all the work and waking up early, going to bed and waking up early and doing all the work all day and in that heat, I was asking me more than once, why I pay so much money to go through this, you know?
Yeah.
But in the end, it's all worth it.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for the Hagers too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they
Yeah.
did wonderful. We didn't lose a pound. They feed us pretty good.
And the
gained
worships and all of that. They're good people.
Very good people, yeah.
So that's a good conclusion of it is all that money was worth it, wasn't it?
It was super worth it.
Well,
Every bit of it.
for our recording and sharing with the church, I think it'd be appropriate to end our time with a prayer. And of course, if you'd like to visit after that, we can too. But let's have a prayer together. Father in heaven, I praise you that you are able to coordinate things like group mission trips with 36 people and all the logistics and the hearts that are touched and the miracles that need to take place in order for it to come together. And this one was special because, like was mentioned, our missionaries came home to something different than they left. And I pray that their missionary spirit and the desire to serve would just be manifest right here in our context, in our current crisis, that we could be servants, that we could love the people that are right in front of us and all around us. And thank you for the ways that we see your love and your glory by loving your people. And we pray for those in Peru that the building that is built there would be used for your glory, that people could have awesome worship experiences and education experiences and whatever types of experiences you've ordained for that place, that it would be God's house and a place that they could get to know you. And we commit our lives to you. In Jesus' name, amen.